Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You can get a job in the Middle East simply by trying or by magic, through others, or by a fluke. Remember that competition is everywhere. Some here, some there, but bam! Loy Machedo is the best.
Hi there, Loy Machedo. Speaking to you from LoyMachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo and Think Personal Branding? All right, the date is 8th May 2020. All right, I actually made this video before, but then it didn't come out properly. So, I'm making it once again. So 1 hour of work all went to waste. So I'm making this video once again. So do support the work that I do. If you can give a like, it would really help, because YouTube's algorithm. And do share the video if you feel it adds any value. Also, the points that I'll be sharing with you, I'll put it in the description down below, all the points. So whatever point you feel you'd like to have a different point of view or add something more, feel free. Okay, I never censor, I never delete any comment. The whole premise of this video is going to be why Emirates Airlines will face bankruptcy. Now, in 2017, I had predicted that Expo 2020 would be a disaster, and that's exactly what happened. Before that, I predicted that when I was in UAE. Obviously, I couldn't put it up on YouTube. That the construction industry will collapse, and that's exactly what happened. Over the years, because I keep observing trends, I'm not saying that whatever I predict, everything comes true, but there is a pattern. It's like people ignore these signals, and eventually the collapse does take place. So I'm going to share with you 17 points why I feel Emirates Airlines is headed towards bankruptcy. Okay, so let's move on, and do feel free to put down your thoughts. So point number one, the first reason why I believe Emirates Airlines will face bankruptcy is because the Emirates Airlines business model, if you actually look at it, has been based strictly on speculation. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's look at UAE. Okay. Now, Emirates Airlines is the brainchild of Sheikh Mohammed. And Sheikh Mohammed was lucky in the initial period of time towards, let's say, Dubai. Okay. However, once he started to taste success, he just believed that anything he touched would turn to gold. He believed that he was invincible. Okay. Which I don't blame him. It's any and every businessman just feels he can take the next big risk without failing. Sheikh Mohammed does have a spectacular resume. He has made Dubai what it is. His greatest achievements are too many to mention. However, he did make very big critical errors, especially during the boom period. So let me give you a couple of examples where he has made a tremendous mistake, especially based on speculation. The first big one is Expo 2020. Okay, when they got Expo 2020, everyone was jumping with joy, shouting, screaming. They were so happy. But let's look at Expo 2020 today. As of now, as per Bloomberg, the total expenditure for Expo 2020 is expected to reach around 66.4 billion dirhams. Okay, that's 18.1 billion US dollars. As of now, they have not got anything back in return. Everything has been only spent. Okay, and the expense moved 17% from 56.8 billion dirhams. Okay, this is Bloomberg's report. So they have only spent money on Expo 2020, spend money on ads, spend money on brand ambassadors, spend money on putting it in the news, spend money on creating hype. They have not got a single penny back in return. So this 18.1 billion US dollars is just gone to waste as of now. There's nothing happening. Okay, that's number one. The second point, that UAE is only based on speculation. Palm Island, 1, 2, 3. The world waterfront Just imagine the construction for all these properties started at 2003. It is 17 years since that date. Palm Island 1, Palm Island 2, Palm Island 3, the world waterfront. Waterfront was 750,000 villas in the water. And even further than that, which was going to go 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers or even 5 kilometers into the ocean, you had one small island which was like the shape of the sun. It was, like a cartoonish kind of sun. And that is where they said the VVIP, the greatest, most powerful people would be staying there. It's the richest. In fact, people do not know this, but they are already underwater kind of villas. I know people who have been there. Okay, I know people who have been there to Sheikh Mohammed's kind of residence. It's an underwater villa which is surrounded with gold-plated stuff, diamond-encrusted stuff. I know people who have been there for maintenance work. Okay, so yes, all this was great, but Palm Island 1, 2, 3, the world, and this waterfront, all the money that was spent dumping sand into the water, what has happened to it? As of now, nobody knows the exact amount of money, but let's assume close to a billion dirhams has been put to set the infrastructure. Now, what has happened? In fact, if you check Wikipedia, there are also reports that these islands are sinking because the seawater is busy eroding the sand, the rocks. See, when nature itself did not permit these islands to be there, how can you fight nature? The biggest thing which they never considered was the maintenance of these islands. In fact, I used to ask people this question: if you want to go to the supermarket, how do you go to the supermarket? If you want to go to the doctor, how do you go to the doctor if you are on an island? What, you will call for a helicopter service? You want to go to the grocery shop, you'll call a helicopter. So these were just gimmicks. These were these concept dreams that they had that never bore fruit. In fact, you remember the floating houses. Everything was based on speculation, but they were not able to um, deliver on what they promised. The next one, this one is the big one: speculation. Sheikh Maktoum Airport. Sheikh Maktoum Airport it was built as the biggest airport that was going to bring or attract 200 million passengers. 200 million. Now, Dubai Airport takes around 88 million. As of 2017, Dubai Airport took around 88 million passengers. They believe that, yes, Dubai is going to grow so big, we are going to get 200 million passengers every year. From 88, they just went double. So Sheikh Maktoum Airport was built to accommodate this. And how much did they spend on this? $82 billion. $82 billion they spent on Sheikh Maktoum Airport. It was opened on 27th June 2010, 10 years ago. What has happened? How many planes have gone? It was supposed to be the busiest airport in the world. It was supposed to be like 200 million passengers. There's nothing happening there. You don't take my word. Go to Sheikh Maktoum Airport. It takes literally 45 minutes to 1 hour to drive with no traffic. You're talking of Dubai speed, like really fast. It'll take you 45 minutes to reach there. It's so far away. Then after that, once you reach there, you'll see the whole place empty. It's like 100,000 people's parking spaces there, totally empty. You go into the airport, it's totally empty. The security guy is sleeping. There's nobody there. The amount of expense to maintain this, the electricity, the water, the people, it's unbelievable. And the place is absolutely empty. Okay. So as of now, even that is gone to waste. Then you have the expansion of Dubai Airport. What happened to it? They expanded. Yes, it is being used, but now passengers were declining. This is before COVID. Then Dubai Logistics City. Again, they spent billions of dollars on it. Nothing happened. Okay, they were expecting that the Maktoum Airport will get so busy, and then Logistics City will be so busy, they'll get all the cargo in the world. Nothing is happening. What happened to all the other projects of Sheikh Mohammed? Dubai District, Dubai, whatever, all the projects. In fact, even these, all these big news that they give that they're going to have police on Segway, they're going to have women's police, they're going to have robo police, they're going to have flying taxis, they're going to have futuristic city, they're going to have people being trained for space. Only one guy went to space. After that, nothing. So all these big talk, this speculation, which they like to put in the news, what happened to it? In fact, they were even talking about a cryptocurrency. What happened to it? See, the problem is all this sounds good when they announce it on the papers, but they don't follow up. In fact, let me ask you, look back on all the big projects. You remember the twisting project, the twisting tower? What happened to it? You remember the 1 mile high tower? What happened to it? They announced all this. They took the money for this. They put it in all the papers. Nothing happened. So the Emirates Airlines, the whole business model is based strictly on speculation. So that's point number one. Point number two, Dubai has always followed the policy of build and then they will come. The case for this is Business Bay was built. All those buildings in Business Bay area, all of them were built because they believe people will come. Nothing has happened there. Okay. Then JLT, Jumeirah Lake Towers. Well, that project was a success. People are there. But now that place has become a mess. Mess because such tall, high-rise buildings, so many people staying there, but the roads are so small and narrow. So every day to get in, there's a rush. To get out, there's a rush, especially during peak period. Then you have greens, meadows, all the projects of Nakil and Imar. All of them were built. Okay, they built it first and they believe this demand, this will sell like hotcakes. What they didn't know or what they didn't consider was people are buying this because not for staying, to resell. And they were buying it based on the premise of, you sell it at 1%, you pay 1% of the amount, pay 1,000 dirhams, and this property is sold to you. How do you think Danube? But Danube keeps announcing, oh, we have sold 80%, we have sold 90%, it's all sold out. Blitz, glitz, dicks, or whatever shit. It's sold out in the sense that you are having a property worth 1 million that you are claiming is 1 million, and you're telling people just put down the payment of 1,000 dirhams and it's sold to you. So everyone's putting down 1,000 dirhams payment, which is non-refundable, and then after that they start the construction. But then they delay it as long as they want, and once after you've taken the money and it's delayed and delayed and delayed, even if they deliver, then there are hidden charges, maintenance charges, security charges, this charge, that charge. In the fine print, they have some of the best lawyers. In the fine print, it's clearly stated whatever the developer or the landlord decides to add or change, you can't question. Okay, so this policy of build and they will come was the same policy that they use with Emirates Airlines. Grow and people will use. Okay. Point number three, the unsustainable growth. Okay. Now let's have a look. I'll Google search right now number of airplanes with Emirates Airlines. Okay, the number of planes that Emirates Airlines. As of now, Emirates Airlines. Okay, it gives here in Emirates Airlines Wikipedia, 2018. It shows that Emirates Airlines has 250 aircrafts. Okay, out of which the Emirates Airlines is known to have A380s. The A380s are the largest gas guzzlers in the world. And Emirates Airlines has the highest number of A380s in the world. Now, I'll get to that later. Now, what Emirates Airlines kept doing is every air show, if you have a look at every air show, check the news in the past, every air show, Emirates Airlines was going and just ordering aircrafts as if they were buying fish, as if they were buying, like, you go to a shop and you see, okay, buy one at 10%. They were just picking up aircrafts as if they were doing shopping for chocolates. Every air show, Emirates Airlines with Sheikh, they were just, I don't know, inflating their chest as we purchased 10 aircrafts, 20 aircrafts, 70 billion, 100 billion. It was, at some point, all the other airlines were just scratching their heads and wondering, what are you doing? What in the world are you doing? And that is where the talk started, that Emirates Airlines is being funded by Dubai government. Because just think about it. If all the airlines in the world, they are not able to purchase or buy or expand the way Emirates Airlines is doing, then how is Emirates Airlines doing it? Emirates Airlines would claim, oh, we are being audited internationally. Here's big news for you. Do you think that it's not possible to manipulate numbers? What happened to Arthur Anderson? What happened to Enron? What happened to these big companies that were supposed to be publicly listed and totally transparent? You have ways and means to play with numbers, and the bigger they are, the easier. In UAE today, it's a known fact that all these companies that are there, they have audited financials which are played around. Case in point, BR Shetty's entire empire. Okay, so this unsustainable growth is a very big red flag that Emirates Airlines kept waving. People kept knowing that this is going to implode at some point. And Emirates Airlines grew at such a point that it was not possible to maintain. I'll give you the best example. It's like bodybuilding. Let's assume you're a 50 kilo, you're a guy who's 50 kilos, is pretty thin. Then you go to the gym and start injecting yourself with steroids and you eat a lot and you take supplements and you grow. If a baby grows normally, it's considered okay. But if it grows abnormally, like just like the Hulk, your body cannot handle, the organs cannot handle it. In the same way, Emirates Airlines did not have a sustainable model of growth. Okay, it grew just too fast. The next one, impulsive habits. Now, it comes to the point of how Emirates was picking up aircrafts. In fact, you don't have to go very far. Just for those people who have lived in UAE for all these years, ask those people who have stayed for more than 20 years, above 20 years, ask them, how was Dubai building its roads and bridges? A bridge across the main highway would cost roughly around, let's say, 10 million to, not 10 million, it would cost much more than 50 million or 100 million in terms of dirhams. Okay. It's so funny and it's so odd today when you look at it. Dubai would build a bridge, okay, a flyover, and would demolish that and build another one. And then after another year, demolish that and build a bigger one. Then after another year, demolish that and build another fancy one. They kept doing this. I used to drive down Sheikh Road and wonder, what the hell are they doing? You're building a bridge and you're breaking that, a flyover. They're building another one, a bigger one, and you're bringing that. Yes, they were doing it for improvement, but the way they were doing it is like what, cash is going on trees. In fact, the most intricate one is the one that connects, when you just go to Sheikh Zayed Road, that connects the Burj Khalifa, that entire area. That is one of the most complex flyover system that they have. The number of times it was broken and rebuilt and broken and rebuilt. You're talking of 100 million, 200 million just being thrown into the water. It's like totally wasted. So this impulsive habit that they had was reflected in the way that they were scooping up these A380s. And I'll come to that, why that is one of the biggest reasons for its downfall. Point number five. Point number five is lies, white lies, politics, and even more lies. What do I mean by that? I'll give you a good example. Now, let me ask you, is UAE a Islamic country? Okay, does it follow Islam? You'd say yes, it follows Islam because those are Arabs and they follow Islam. It's built on the principles of Islam. Fine. Can you explain to me, Sheikh Mohammed takes part in horse racing. What is horse racing? Is that gambling or it's not gambling? Putting bets. My first question. Second question. In Dubai, is there prostitution? Yes or no? Okay. Third one. In Dubai, do they have racism? Is racism there by any chance, any means in the corporate world? Yes or no? Okay. Next one. Gambling. This is not very open, but does gambling take place offshore, in boats and all that? Is all that there? You just have to go through Instagram. Just go through Instagram. Just have a look. Girls in Ibiza, bikini beaches and all that. In fact, just Google search. Don't believe a word I say. Just check escorts of UAE or, call girls of UAE. Just Google search. You will get massage parlors of UAE. What do you think happens in those massage parlors? See, I'm not, don't get me wrong. This is not me trying to bash up UAE, but this is the reality of things. Everyone knows that this happens. Everyone knows. I myself, at the age of 20, I went to prostitutes. Dera area, there are prostitutes. JLT, there are prostitutes. If you park your car in JLT area, just leave your car there. You come down after 1 hour, you'll see all the cards for massage. What kind of massage do you think is happening there? You think what, a spiritual massage where they show you God? In fact, why do you think girls would go to a nightclub and just go sit there, look rich, look successful? You'll meet all these girls wearing skimpy outfit. What is that? Is that supposed to be Islam? Is that supposed to be like the teachings of Prophet Mohammed? See, You either portray that you're modern and contemporary or do Allah Gullah business. Okay. If you say Allah, follow Allah in Islam. If you're trying to portray this, then just be this. Stop this and this. That's a bullshit I hate. So that is number one. Okay. The second one is the bullshit that they communicate in the papers. Now, they are talking all about what we call that Islam is, we treat everyone equally. What equal? Okay, simple. What equal? This building a temple, showing the unity with the Pope and all that. It's nothing but a PR fucking exercise. Because here's one very simple thing. Anyone, Gulf News and Khalid Shams keeps publishing that this person converted to Islam. Good. I'm happy for you. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with that. But can someone convert from Islam to any other religion? No. So Islam doesn't consider other religions equal. Let's understand that one. Islam is always up here, all the other religions down here. Okay? They are never equal. Let's understand. I'll give you a simple proof. Why not have in a mosque? Why not have a statue of a Hindu god? Why not have a Christian cross in a mosque? It'll never happen. It will never happen. Okay. So let's call the bullshit out. Okay. In fact, the biggest one that I'll give you is we keep talking about Islam being so open and understanding and all that. Understanding and open for what? The media. It's only for the media. The minute the doors close, I'm sorry, but this doesn't, it's not so broad-minded. Case in point, just Google search, woman arrested after being raped in UAE. Check how many cases are there of women who are being jailed because they were raped by a Muslim man. So, see, I'm not saying that other countries are perfect. UAE has a really bad record with all this bullshit and lies. In fact, I'll give you a simple one. You know Salik, which they charge you money for traveling. You go through, it's a road toll. This guy, I think his name is Al-Tahir. I'm not too sure whether he's the main guy, who was the chairman of the Salik Roads Transport Committee. He said the reason why they bought Salik was to reduce traffic. According to him, once they bring Salik, traffic will reduce, congestion will reduce. I was like, what the fuck are you talking, man? The traffic is going to reduce. They bought one Salik in Dubai Sharjah Road, okay, and they bought one Salik in that was Garud, Garud Bridge. Garud? Yeah, it was Garud or Maktoum. Maktoum Bridge. I've left Dubai so long ago, I don't even remember. Garud Bridge. Okay, it has been some time. Okay, now after the Salik came, they said, what did they say first? The Salik has come and traffic will reduce. First day after Salik was activated, people are afraid to go through. So they said, it's a success. But then after that, traffic became normal. So what did they do? They said, you'll only pay 4 dirham once. After that, they built one more Salik. Then they built one more Salik gate. They kept building. They said, don't worry, Yahi, don't worry. We'll only charge 4 dirham one time. After that, it was a maximum of 16 dirham. 16 dirham, that means 4 times. After that, you'll never be charged. You can travel unlimited number of times. Then it became, every time you travel, you'll be charged 4 dirhams. And finally, it became, you travel never-ending number of times, you'll pay never-ending time. And they built multiple Salik gates. Now, here's my question to you. Where has the bloody traffic reduced? The traffic is not at all reduced. You know why it is not reduced? Because it's, number one, it's bloody hot. Number two, there is no proper system of transportation. Buses, okay, fine. They have built few buses, intercity buses. They have built Dubai, metro, which is still in its infancy stage, okay? If you want to go from, let's say, straight, you have transport. What if you want to go to a particular area? You finally have to take a taxi, and taxis are not pretty cheap. They are bloody expensive. Before you had Pathan taxis, you had all these other guys who could drive a taxi that was for 4 dirhams, that was cheap. You remember the smell of Pathan taxis when you would go there. Some would smell like perfume, others would really smell like body odor. I remember those good old days. It was only 4 dirhams. Imagine 4 dirhams to travel from Sharjah to Dubai. Then it became 7 dirhams. Then it became 12 dirhams. Then it became 25 dirhams. Today, if you travel from Sharjah to Dubai, it can cost up to 85 dirhams in a traffic jam. And you sit in a taxi, it's 12 dirhams. I do not know now what it is. So they kept giving this bullshit that traffic would reduce. Traffic never reduced. It kept going up and up and up. And finally, today, people have realized that, oh, even if I pay Salik, it is still going to be traffic jam. So you don't have a choice. So people are tired of these lies, bullshit, and nonsense. And, you know, once, you cheat me once, shame on you. Cheat me twice, shame on me. So this is what has happened. People are tired of being cheated and told lies. And this is the same thing with Emirates Airlines. Emirates Airlines has kept telling people lies. Lies from job security to the promises to everything else. People have realized that everything that they do is nothing but lies. Point number 6. This has got to do with UAE. UAE in the 80s, it was a glorious time to come to UAE. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry from any part of the world, if you'd come down to UAE, it was paradise. You'd hit the jackpot. Where if you're a Brit and you're earning peanuts and you're driving, let's say, a cheap, like Mr. Bean's kind of car, the minute you come to UAE, you drive a Range Rover. By the way, in the 80s, Range Rover and four-wheel drives, those big cars were only meant for locals and whites with special permission, but Indians or Asians could never drive it. But then later on, Al Futtaim requested the government and they opened it up for everyone. So you can do a little bit of fact-finding here. So, in fact, do a little bit of homework. Tint, the car tint, that was only for locals and for rich people, rich locals, not for Asians, not for other people. But then they allowed only if you're a big shot, you can have a tint. Today, you can have a tint only of 20%, but above 30% or 40%, I don't know what is the exact, it's only for locals. So they have this special racist laws only for locals, VIP, others, no. So anyway, UAE in the glory days had a certain element of charm to it. Any idiot from India, any dumb person could earn a lot of money. You could save. Why do you think Indians were coming to India? And if you tell anyone, I'm from Dubai, oh, Gulf, Gulf, those days were all great. And you'd not believe that if you were from Dubai, there was a certain element of snobbishness that would come. If you go to the airport, you'd say, I'm from Dubai, I'm from the Gulf. Wow, Dubai. And when my parents used to go to India, we would take chocolates and, this cheap chocolates and people, oh, Snickers, oh, Galaxy, oh, it was a big thing those days. Today, you say Gulf and bloody refugee. This is a NRI, not required Indian. Because they, now that social media is there, now that internet is so free-flowing, people know if you are working in Dubai, you're a slave for the visa. So the reputation of UAE, the glory days of UAE was once upon a time it was there, but today it is, there are so many people there. It has lost its charm. UAE has realized, there is demand. People will come here and die, and they'll beg for salaries and they'll beg for jobs. So it lost its charm at a certain point of time. My stepfather, in the early days, imagine, even though he was just an average guy as a receptionist, he was getting 6,000 to 8,000 dirhams in the 80s. That must be like 20,000, 30,000 dirhams of today's value, because the expenses were low, the rent was low, living conditions were low, there was no taxes, and everything was savings. My parents, in the glory days, they had four properties and houses in Bombay, in Mumbai, okay, because that was the amount of savings that they had. Today, you'll be lucky even if you get a decent job that helps you save. So the glory days are gone. Those days you could save. Today you cannot save. And those days there was no taxes. Today you have VAT. It's a bloody expensive affair. Almost 60 to 70% of your income goes only on rent. So imagine how expensive it is. Okay. So the point number 6 is UAE in the glory days There was a certain charm to it to come there, and that would make people use Emirates Airlines for their visa, for everything else. But today, that charm is no longer there, and that in turn has affected UAE. Point number 7 is the reputation of UAE, which is connected to Dubai, which is connected to Emirates Airlines. Just Google search today the reputation of UAE, human rights. You will have a bad record of UAE. Check Tutok, that application. It has a bad reputation. And in fact, now go to Twitter right now and check the feud that is going on with Al Qasimi, that is a female who's supposed to be a princess, and the BJP. They are fighting left and right. In fact, Gulf News has become a puppet for supporting Pakistan and an anti Hindu agenda, anti Indian agenda versus what is happening with India and the BJP. This is impacting UAE's credibility. This is impacting Dubai's credibility. And this in turn impacts Emirates Airlines because Emirates Airlines is so intertwined with Dubai's image that if Dubai's image gets affected, it's Emirates Airlines that gets affected globally. Okay? Because it's very simple. People have an affinity to, oh, you're attacking me, I'll boycott you. And that is what is happening. So people are distancing themselves from Dubai, they are distancing themselves from Emirates Airlines. Point number 8, the lack of unity. Once upon a time, you had all the Arab states that were together as one cohesive unit, and that was good. That was actually good. You have Iraq, you had Saudi, you had Qatar, you had Bahrain, you had Oman, you had UAE, all of them together. Today, Qatar is totally ostracized. UAE and Saudi won. Oman is playing a diplomatic role. Kuwait and Bahrain somewhere else. There's no more unity. And with this lack of unity, Western powers are ganging up. Russia is ganging up. They're saying choose sides. Iran is totally left out. Because of this, the lack of unity, it is creating a problem. And this, in turn, is affecting Emirates Airlines. Okay. And especially you have Qatar with Qatar Airways. I'll tell you, it's a great experience to travel with Qatar Airways, which is much better, personally, much better than Emirates Airlines. But the way they are treating their staff, with the way they are treating their employees, that's another story. Google search how cabin crew members, when they're pregnant or if they were to meet anyone outside their duty hours, there's so much of sexism, there's so much of micromanagement that it's suffocating for people to work there, and that in turn gives a very bad image both for Qatar employees, both for Emirates Airlines employees. And last but not the least, and this point is the war with Yemen. Saudi and UAE have been supplying weapons to Yemeni just to break away, and Yemeni Houthis are pretty pissed off, and this in turn has affected Emirates Airlines. Okay. Point number 9 is the ego-driven decisions. You don't have to go very far. Just Google search the biggest in UAE, the tallest in UAE, the fastest in UAE, the greatest in UAE. You'll get everything that is so hyped up. UAE likes to show that they are fast and furious. That is why you have Dubai, which has these supercars for its fleet. Tell me which other country in the world has a super fleet for its police. You have Abu Dhabi that wanted to show, oh, we are a step above. So they showed the Bentley in the Dubai fleet, the police fleet. You had, Dubai trying to outdo everyone else. It was good. It looked good, but it's not sustainable. They tried to do the same with Emirates Airlines, and that is where the A380 came in, which I'll speak to you next. Yes, Dubai likes to show world records. Dubai likes to show, big things. We are the world record holder for this, that, everything else. They try to do the same with Emirates Airlines. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. These ego-driven decisions of buying the A380s led to its downfall, which comes to the point number 10 is the A380 in itself, the return on investment. Let me break it down for you. Do your homework. The cost for an A380 cost a staggering 446 million for one A380. Okay. Now let's look at the cheapest fuel efficient model, that is the Airbus A350, not the A380. Now the difference between the A380 and the A350 is 446 million and 317 million. You'll say, Loy, it's only 100 million. Okay, I'll give you the exact. The part that you should be looking at is the cost to maintain a A380 is $26,000 per hour. The cost to keep this A380 in the air, $26,000 to $29,000 per hour. But the maintenance cost of maintaining a A350 is $1,000. So $1,000, you're paying 29 times more or 30 times more to maintain a A380. Look at the difference. $1,000 an hour, $29,000 an hour. And guess which airline in the world has the highest number of A380s? It's Emirates Airlines. Emirates Airlines has the highest number of A380s in the world. In fact, if I Google search, how many A380s does Emirates Airlines have? The number of A380s that Emirates Airlines have is the total in service is 115. 115. So I do not know which is the next one. Let me check. Okay, as per Wikipedia, Emirates Airlines has ordered 123 A380s. Okay, the closest second. So Emirates Airlines has 123. The closest second is Singapore Airlines with 24. Where is 24? Where is 123? That's 100 more. Okay. Singapore Airlines has 24. Lufthansa has 14. British Airways 12. Qantas 12. Air France 10. Etihad 10. Korean Airlines 10. Qatar 10. Asiana 6. Malaysian 6. Thai Airways 6. China 5. Air Nippon 3. So out of 251 firm orders, Emirates Airlines has 123. So can you imagine the amount of cost for maintaining this? It is ridiculous. Okay. Then point number 11 is the show of vision. Now, Sheikh Mohammed has had a vision that is great, but Sheikh Mohammed's vision has moved into being too fast, too furious, and too large an ego to fulfill. In fact, Sheikh Mohammed has been going on this rampant drive to, just like Steve Jobs during the final days, he went, okay, created the iPod, created the iPad, created the iPhone, which worked. But in Sheikh Mohammed's case, he just went on a berserk vision of making the biggest, the largest, which is not sustainable. And he built this based on his past. See, the problem with having a vision or based on your past is it feels good, you feel invincible, but then you will make mistake. Case in point, B.R. Shetty. Case in point, anyone that you know that has built a vision of the past but has failed to deliver. Sheikh Mohammed did great wonders when you're talking of Dubai Internet City, Dubai Media City, but this is almost 10 years or 20 years ago. Today, everything that Sheikh Mohammed is doing is not materializing, is not working out. It's just based on the past. So the pressure that has been put on these companies to match Sheikh Mohammed's vision has been nothing but a pressure, but nobody has been able to deliver. Since, if you actually look at it from the past 20 years, nothing that Sheikh Mohammed has done has actually worked or delivered. Okay. Point number 12 is the foundation that is based on Dubai success. Everything that Emirates Airlines has been done or has been projected, has been based on UAE success, has been based on Dubai success. Here's my question to you. Why do you think Etihad Airlines has failed? Etihad Airways has failed because they try to replicate what Dubai tried to do, or Emirates Airlines. It has failed miserably, and because of which it has moved into bankruptcy. And Etihad is a scary example of what will happen to Emirates Airlines. Point number 13 is the oil prices. Abu Dhabi was strong when oil was strong. Saudi was strong when oil was strong. Today, the oil prices are literally decimated around the world. You have petrol tankers that are waiting with oil, but nobody wants to take them. So when you have this kind of a scenario, what do? Dubai went into bankruptcy during the property prices crash. Abu Dhabi pulled it out. And the reason for renaming Burj Dubai as Burj Khalifa, Sheikh Mohammed said that he's doing it in honor of Sheikh Khalifa. There was no honor. It was just the bailout. They bailed out UAE or Dubai to the tune of $21 billion. Now, 21 billion has not been paid. Now, what do you do now, especially during the crisis? Can Abu Dhabi bail UAE out once again? Can Abu Dhabi bail Dubai out once again? Impossible. They cannot do it. Why? Because they have enough and more on their plate. Etihad Airways is bleeding. They are trying to save that, but its fleet is rather small. But with Emirates Airlines, its fleet is like huge, a massive. You're talking of 250 aircrafts. How in the world would they manage to bail them out? Okay, so if there is no revenue coming in with oil prices, there's nothing you can do. And the closest next second ally is Saudi, and Saudi itself with its big vision 2030, Masdar city, and this city, that city, and nothing is happening. Okay, point number 14 is the fixed expenses. Now, let's understand this much. Emirates Airlines has around 250 plus aircrafts. Okay, now because of this COVID-19 crisis, none of the aircrafts are flying. Now, let's say, for example, you have a car. Now, when you're not using the car, you normally tend to park your car below the building. Okay, it'll remain there and will not be used. Now, you'll not use the car maybe for 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, whatever. And there is no problem. But if you do not use the car beyond a certain period of time, the battery dies out. Okay, that's the thing with the car. So you'll have to take it for service. Now, where aircrafts are considered, it's not like you just park the aircraft and you don't do anything. First and foremost is managing that aircraft, that really big aircraft, keeping it safe. The second part is using that aircraft. Do you know that I've spoken to my friend who is an engineer in Emirates Airlines? What he has told me is, Loy, if an aircraft, if it is flying, let's say it keeps flying and it's keeping on being used, that is lesser maintenance and lesser headache than an aircraft that is just taxied or parked in one place and not being used. Why do you think you'll see sometimes photographs or images on social media where an aircraft is flying with only one single passenger? Because if an aircraft doesn't fly, it doesn't move. Um, uh, you know, it's a very sensitive and very delicate machine. There will be fittings, there will be fluid, there will be parts that have to be used, and if it is not being used, there can be so many dangerous things that can happen which can risk the lives of passengers. And where aircrafts are considered, where any airline is considered, safety is the number one focus that they tend to have. So an aircraft has to be used. So you're talking of 250 aircrafts. For 250 aircrafts, you have 250 aircrafts worth of engineers, 250 aircrafts worth of pilots, and they would have to move. They would have to make sure that these aircrafts are being used, or they would have to make sure that this aircraft is taken onto a hangar, it's serviced, it's taken care of. You can't just leave an aircraft just doing nothing. And all this costs incredible amount of money, a huge amount of money. And this eats into Emirates Airlines, whether savings, bank account, whatever. And this is one big hell of an expense because you're talking of no revenue but only expenditure. And keep in mind, the more older an aircraft, the more expensive it is to maintain. So what do? You have to get rid of this aircraft. In fact, the biggest question, my friend who was working in Emirates Airlines, he told me is, Loy, the big question is it worth keeping on saving this aircraft if it's not being used? And mind you, Emirates Airlines has big, huge A380s, which is a massive expense by itself. Okay. The other part of the fixed expense is now the salaries. Keep in mind that Emiratis are paid at least 10 times more for the same position than an Asian. That everyone knows. There is a separate HR department for Emiratis in Emirates Airlines. You can check with an HR person who's working there. If they are close to you, they'll open up. Others, they will not. there is a separate HR for Emiratis, which focuses on Emiratization, which focuses on their salary, focuses on their benefits. See, here's another thing. These Emiratis are paid this extraordinary salaries because they are Emiratis, and I totally understand. Okay, you want to pamper them, you want to take care, they are your citizens, fine. But this is giving them a wrong message, and now they are accustomed to this salary. If they are accustomed, are you going to cut it down? They have taken 4-5 bank loans, they have taken 4-5 credit cards, they have taken mortgage loans, they have taken everything. So they are, they would want that salary. How are you going to maintain that? And these people, and they're not going to resign. They want to work. They enjoy coming late to work. They enjoy going early home. They enjoy hardly working during Ramadan. This has been their life. And I'm saying this not out of hatred. I'm saying this with my friend, my actual friend who has been working there. This is the story everyone knows. So when you have, just think about it. Now, if you have the same amount of work being done by an engineer, 2 engineers, there's nothing extraordinary that an Emirati does, but he gets paid 10 times more. So you're paying 9 people's extra salary for what? For the same amount of work? And this is the added extra expense that Emirates would have to not only bear, but it have to justify. And this is, it's really bad for Emirates Airlines, to tell you very honest. It's bad for any business for that matter. It's like you have this, favorite people in your team who you're just pampering with extra salary, but they're not giving any productivity. It doesn't justify the cost. So this fixed expense is another area that Emirates Airlines is going to take a very strong beating. Okay. Point number 15 is the racism and the breeding ground for complacency. Now, I told you about the separate HR that there is. I told you about the exceptionally great perks and benefits. It even seems that if Emirati woman gets a baby, she gets a whole year of maternity so that she can spend time and take care of the children, which is not the same case for Asians, which is not the same case for other expatriates. Okay, fine, you have that special preference. But now, what you're doing is you have given them the reason not to work hard. Why should someone work hard when he's getting all those perks and benefits? You have people who are being paid 10 times more. Why should they work hard? And even if they work hard, tell me one thing. 10 people versus 1 person. Do you think this one person who's a citizen of the country, who doesn't have job fear, who doesn't give a damn, you can't cancel his visa, he doesn't need a visa. You can't tell him, oh, you don't work, I'll cancel you, I'll send you back. He's like, yalla barra, do what you want. This is my country. What the hell can you do? And they are not afraid. Emiratis are not afraid of losing their jobs because they know the government will take care of me. Okay? In fact, let me give you this actual example, this real example that happened. My girlfriend, who was in one of the training programs, she was conducting a training program for Emiratis. Okay? The Emiratis who are there, these boys, they are local Arabs, and then you have other people from other nationality, they were sitting there. The expatriates were well behaved. Emiratis, they were sitting with their legs on top of the table. And, they were like, and yeah, wallah, why AC not working? Why AC not working? Then the other guy, put off AC, ha ha ha. And, they didn't give a damn. In fact, they actually bullied my girlfriend who was teaching them. And then, yeah, put AC. And she said, I'm sorry, this is not the way to behave. To which he said, Kali Wali, you do. He treated with such disrespect. She said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to take this. She went out, went to the manager. She actually went to the manager and complained. And guess what? The spineless Indian manager who was there, he said, see, listen, this is their own country. What you can do? You can't do anything, well, even if he spoke sense, this is the reality. Even if you feel that he doesn't have any courage, this is the reality. What can you do to an Emirati? What can you do to a local? So you can't do anything. So there's just manage. Okay, I'll come there. I'll take care. He came there. He spoke to them very politely. Imagine he's a senior level manager. He's talking very politely to a trainee, an intern. Okay. This is what it is. And they actually went and they complained about my girlfriend to the HR, saying that she was not treating them well and she was disrespecting them. And she got reprimanded for this. So this is the attitude that they don't give a damn. It's like me having children, and I've pampered them so much. They don't give a damn. They don't respect anything. For them, they are so used to the luxuries of life. They don't care. And when you have, like, you're paying them 10 times the size, speak to a Emirati college student. The starting salary that a student expects is $10,000. $10,000, and they will work fixed number of hours, not extra hours. They will go home on time. Okay, they will come late and go home on time. And do you know this? I challenge you. In Emirates Airlines, when they are working, this actually happens. Huh? I'm not saying this out of hate. When they are working, they go to pray 5 times a day during their working hours. So during the working hours, okay, yalla, it's time to pray. They will go, and for the next half an hour, they will wash their hands, everything. They'll make their namaz, their prayer. When they come back, they'll take their own sweet time, come back, and then they'll start their work. Do you seriously think you can go to an Arab Muslim and tell him, sorry, you can't do this? Do you know how many people are afraid to lose their jobs? They are told that it is not possible for you to tell an Arab Muslim, no, you cannot go and pray. Because they will pray during the working hours. And when you have an Asian boss, or when you have an expatriate, they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to be on the bad side. Okay, fine. An Emirati can tell an Emirati, but an expatriate cannot tell an Emirati. And guess what is the composition of Emiratis versus expatriates? The majority of the expatriates, they are afraid of losing their jobs, afraid of losing their visa, afraid of being thrown out. Emiratis don't give a damn. Maybe in government companies, okay, fine. In companies where they know Sheikh Mohammed is going to come and visit, fine. But most of this, they don't give a damn, man. See, you don't have to buy or believe a word I say. Just ask somebody who's there. And here, once again, I'm not telling you all the Emiratis. I'm not saying all the Muslims, a majority. Okay? You have a very few, very, very few, handful. Those people are hardcore about their jobs. In fact, let me ask you a very simple thing. If you really feel that Emiratis are really hardcore, the cutting edge, the best, give me how many Emiratis are working for companies outside the UAE, who are CEOs, who are directors, who are employed by other companies outside UAE, globally. Nobody. Nobody wants to employ an Emirati. Why? Because they are only good in UAE. They are only paid big salaries in UAE. Outside UAE, they'll be treated equal to all other nationalities, and they don't want that. They want an easy, big salary. They want to be treated like gods in their country. In fact, when I traveled with a stopover to London, I saw this guy, and I thought he was Bangladeshi. Seriously, thought he was wearing a shirt and pant. He was like this, and I spoke to him, hi, how are you? He had okay English. We were just talking, and he was like this, just no confidence, nothing. But later on, when we are near to land in UAE, he was wearing a shirt and pant. He wore his kandura. Oh, I was like, oh, okay, he's a local. Yes, I'm local. There, his confidence grew. He grew like a big guy. But when they were abroad, they were like this. See, why? Why does that happen? It is because UAE as a culture, they promote this. In fact, when I used to travel to Dubai via, Qatar or wherever those days, an Emirati would look at me, Haywan, stop the law, shaitan, here. You know, openly, they would just openly do this. Do you think they can do this globally? When we sat in an aircraft, this actually happened. When we sat in the aircraft, and I was sitting near the aisle. Okay, on the window seat was this girl wearing full abaya. Next to that was, I don't know, a guy, a small young chap, and Arab. And then I was just sitting there. The minute I sat there, next to me, I was sitting this side here. These people, they stood up. These two ladies, obviously that must have been a daughter or something, stood up. They made a big noise. They made a real fucking big noise. Shaitan and this and that. I don't want to sit next to him and all that. They made such a big noise. They, the cabin crew came, spoke very politely, took them and made them sit, I think, somewhere in the front. And they put some Filipinos next to me. See, this kind of behavior, this racist kind of tendency, this religious, oh, shaitan, oh, this and that. Eh, Listen, once again, I'm telling you, it's not everyone. It's not all the Emiratis. It's a few. But those few represent a great deal of people who are working in these companies. So this kind of attitude, this racism, this mentality works only in UAE. It doesn't work outside. For that matter, even Saudi, even Kuwaiti, the racist tweets and all, it's normal. It's normal for them to think like that. And it's not just UAE, it's all these cultures and religions where people don't travel outside their four walls. In India also. In India, what? When you have Hindus who live within those four walls, they think they are no end of themselves. So this happens everywhere. Even in US, where people have never traveled outside, for them, every Muslim guy, every Islam is Osama bin Laden is a terrorist. So the point I'm trying to make is, in Emirates Airlines, they have created this culture of complacency, of uh, racism, of superiority that locals have. And this will not help. For that matter, even the white skinned people who are paid big salaries, they also have the same thing. And they turn a blind eye. Why? Because they earn big salary. And because of this, you'll never get a gifted, talented, smart person with self-respect working for Emirates Airlines. They will not take it. Because a person with self-respect will be like, why the fuck should I take half your salary when you're doing the same amount of work that I'm doing? Why? Why should I take 10 times less than what you're getting? What are you doing so great? Why should I be treated like shit? Because you feel it in the corporate world, everything is being compared. You're driving a fucking Toyota car and he's your junior and he's driving a BMW four-wheel drive with all options. Come on, man. So that is point number 15, which this will impact Emirates Airlines. Point number 16. Now, this one is what everyone knows, the COVID-19 crisis. With the COVID-19, which nobody predicted, nobody thought in their wildest dreams it would happen, the entire world is in a lockdown. Nobody is going out within the country. Nobody is traveling to another country. Nothing is happening. And nobody is coming in. So nobody is going out. You don't need to use Emirates Airlines. Nobody is coming in. You don't need to use Emirates Airlines. But with no revenue, you still have to pay a lot of money. Now, that's one problem. The second problem is now people are getting used to this new life. They're getting used to talking to each other on Skype, Zoom, on video apps. They are asking themselves, why should we spend money traveling when we can do these kind of communications? In fact, companies have lost so much of money in the last few months. They're like, we need to cut down costs. We should not be traveling. So business travel is going to be shut down. They're going to do whatever they can through video conferencing. Okay. Leisure travelers, well, they would travel only when they had money. People had taken credit cards, people had taken loans, but now they failed on making their payments. So you think the first thing on their mind is, hey, let's go for a holiday, let's go enjoy. I'm asking you, if you have not earned or you have lost money, whether it's business or as an employee, is holiday the first thing on your mind? Are you going to think, let me travel and spend time in the Bahamas or go for a holiday, spend time with my relatives? No, you'll be like, fuck, I need to earn money, I need to save money. I have lost money. And in United States, 33 million people lost their jobs. 33 million. Now, these 33 million who lost their jobs, they are going to be shit scared to spend money. The problem with the West is they lived a life where everything was in a loan. A loan was the new norm. I'll take a loan for the house. I'll take a loan for mortgage. I'll take a loan for my car. I'll take a loan for my education. I'll take a loan for a holiday. I'll take a loan for this. I'll take a loan for that. They lived a life of credit. Alan Greenspan was the one who made it. In fact, they used to give awards to people because they bought in new loans and easy loans. It was a greed right at the top. They would take their bonuses, they would put the middle class into trouble. But now what has happened is, because of being unable to work, go out, generate revenue, their lives have been totally fucked up. And they are afraid. It is like the Great Depression, because now they have burned their fingers, no money. They have lived a life where they had to live hand to mouth. They didn't know whether they can eat tomorrow. They would eat, just live with noodles, with rice. They're like, shit, man, no more of this loan fucking business. I have to pay late payment fee. I have all this. I'm not going to go for a holiday. And that itself is going to hurt UAE. You seriously think that people are planning their holiday now? They're planning to travel, they're planning to have fun, they're planning to spend money. Who do you seriously think that people want to go to Dubai? And what are you going to see in Dubai? Dubai has what? What does Dubai have? A camel? What does Dubai have? A beach? What does Dubai have that no other country has? What does Dubai have? A shopping mall? Shopping mall to spend more money? What? Tell me what exactly? What are the attractions in Dubai? What are the attractions in Abu Dhabi? It's hardly you can count on your fingers. A mosque, a Ferrari World, Burj Al Arab, Dubai Mall, Burj Khalifa. What else? Tell me what else is there? That's it. So with this COVID-19, it's going to decimate, absolutely decimate Emirates Airlines. Okay. And last, if not the least, point number 17, post COVID-19. When anybody, let's say, goes through a crisis in their life, okay, it takes them at least 1 to 2 years to bounce out of it. Right now, the COVID crisis, it's going to kind of normalize by November. Now, right now it's Ramadan. It's going to normalize by November, okay, of 2020. Until then, nobody's going to travel. So no revenue much until 2020. And even if there is, it's going to be very limited. You just need to watch this. Nobody's going to travel much. So obviously, Emirates earnings are going to be fucked. 2021. How many people do you think are planning their holidays? How many people do you think are thinking of, I'm going to go to Dubai, I'm going to enjoy, I'm going to travel? And Emirates Airlines is not cheap. Emirates Airlines, the ticket prices are not cheap. People are going to think, why should I spend for this? Might as well spend half price with another airline. Okay, they're going to spend cheap. Then nobody's going to think of spending more money. Anyway, you're going to travel to that particular destination. Why not go cheap? So Emirates, what it's going to do is, with Dubai, which they claim they're not working together, they would make very cheap, very affordable holidays for UAE. What kind of traveler would come there? How many travelers would come there? There are people who would be budgeted, and that would impact Emirates Airlines earnings. The normal, life going back to normal, another 2 years. Another 2 years, it's going to hit. So 2 years, no revenue, no big money, no big profit, with 250 aircrafts not being used, hardly anything being used. So they'll have to terminate people. They'll have to let people go. They'll have to, bring down their expenses. So it's going to take time. The world will reach its sense of normalcy after 5 years. You seriously think UAE has that kind of money? Emirates Airlines has that kind of money to survive the next 5 years when they have to pay for the A380s, which are still not paid, when Dubai has to pay 21 billion, which is not yet paid, when Dubai has to again borrow for this, when Dubai has to borrow again to make Expo 2020 a success. Say Expo 2020, what is Expo 2020? It is not about inviting people to come and celebrate UAE. Expo 2020 is inviting investors. How many investors do you think want to come there? How many? What do you think? They are projected 25 million people. You seriously think 25 million people are going to come there? Are you stupid? The only people who are going to come, investors, decision makers, but they are going to come very few. Emirates Airlines cannot survive with 250 fleet, with being the largest airline in the world. It cannot survive. We have seen the demise of Chrysler, of General Motors. We have seen what happened to all the big giants, whether you could say it's Ford, Kodak, all these companies, they changed with time. Where once upon a time, Hotmail was the most important. Where is Hotmail today? Once upon a time, Windows was everywhere. Where is Windows today? Okay. So, what you need to understand, times are changing. And with COVID-19, we are moving into a new era, a new direction, a totally new world where people are going to think twice before spending. You don't have to go very far. I'm asking you, are you going to travel? Are you going to spend money? Are you going to blow money? Are you going to think of your next holiday? Are you going to borrow on credit? Take your credit card, which anyway banks are not giving now. What are you going to do? So when you as an individual are not planning to travel, like go for a big holiday and do all crazy stuff, spend money, but think of saving money, earning money, taking care of your family for the next 2 years, which idiot do you think is going to start traveling? The majority are not. Emirates Airlines grew its operations based on the fallacy that from 80 million visitors, Dubai would be attracting 200 million visitors. From 80 million, it has gone to maybe half. Nobody is coming in. Hardly anyone is going out. People are holding on to their jobs with their lives. Emirates Airlines is grown too big. The only way to survive is for it to terminate and reduce its operations by at least 60%. At least 60% has to go. Healthy would be 80%, but obviously they can't do that. See, and here's another thing. Emirates Airlines was created on the vision, the grand vision of Sheikh Mohammed, the big dreams, the delusion, as you can call it. Sheikh Mohammed is one step towards his grave. Great man during the boom period, but bad decisions during the crisis period. He is one step towards the grave. He's at 70. Nobody's going to invest. Nobody's going to take a gamble because he can die at any point of time. He has diabetes, he has blood pressure, he's old. I don't wish him anything bad. Now, his next generation, Fazza, is coming over, but nobody knows him. Nobody knows his leadership. Nobody knows his vision. Nobody wants to take a gamble with a young man who has to shoulder the father's loan of Emirates Airlines, 21 billion for Dubai, Nakil, Emaar, Palm Island 1, 2, 3, then Al Maktoum Airport, then District, the uncompleted projects. He has to shoulder all this. Who do you think is going to take a gamble and invest? After the father dies, maybe the son will say, sorry, it's not my headache. My father made the promises. I never made any. Because he's a different person, different leader. He has different sense of priorities. They'll have to see here's the thing. What happened to all the investors who invested on Palm Island 1, 2, 3, the world and all those projects and all those apartments? What happened to all that money? It's gone. Dubai, the Middle East, survives on black money, which was not being taxed, which was, escaping all the, like Cayman Islands, which was escaping the international law. But ever since Dubai was saying, hey, look at me, international market and all that, all the people started looking at Dubai with a microscope. It's very simple. See what happened to B.R. Shetty's empire. The minute it went international, it went public, all the illegal or loopholes were being exposed. Dubai, the more it goes bigger and say, look at me and international, the more it'll be exposed. And that's bad for Dubai. So Dubai can only survive being small. Dubai tried to be another Hong Kong. It tried to be another Singapore. It failed. It failed miserably. They're trying once again. They're building that big Ferris wheel and the island next to Dubai near JLT area. Jumeirah residence. Sorry, that area, man. JLT. JBR area, that big Ferris wheel. They want to make that a casino. They want to make gambling there because it's away from the mainland. Okay, away from the mainland. Technically, it's away from the mainland, and they're building an artificial island where they thought they would have the gambling and the modern Las Vegas there. But everything is stopped. See, the problem is Dubai believes in the future. Oh, I will get the money in the future. I will make billions in the future. It's being too hopeful of the future without assuming, even for a minute, a second, that maybe the future is not going to bring anything positive, it's going to bring negative. And they never prepared for this. That's why today, so many people around the world are fucked. Dubai lived a dream. It was once upon a time a paradise. It was once upon a time a place where you could make easy money. Today, you can't make easy money. Those days are over. Emirates Airlines grew, but then it went too fast, too soon, unsustainable. Now it has to maintain that expense. It has to maintain that fleet of people. It has to maintain the fleet of aircrafts. It has to maintain all this headache that it took on itself, and it's on a nosedive. The A380s was the final nail in the coffin because the most expensive, useless aircrafts, which you have to pay 30,000 per hour dollars just to keep it in the air. Only Emirates Airlines has that. So these are my analysis as to why UAE is going to fail. Emirates Airlines is going to fail miserably. It's headed towards bankruptcy. It will fail. This is my prediction for it. You let me know in the comment section below whether you think I'm right or wrong. I predicted the property market would crash. I predicted the cities and the buildings that were booming, that'll crash. That happened. I predicted Expo 2020 would be a failure. That happened. Now my next prediction is Emirates Airlines is headed towards bankruptcy. I'm saying this today. What's the date? I'm saying this today on 8th May 2020. Remember this, that I said it first. And you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. So Loy from LoyMachedo.com, who's Loy Machedo and Think Personal Branding, sharing with you his thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is me saying goodbye. Take care.
Are you fed up of life? Earning a pathetic salary, working long hours, having an ungrateful boss, facing office politics, the constant fear of losing your job, and after paying rent, groceries, shopping, and children's expenses, you were left with hardly any savings. Is this the life you dreamed of? Or do you wish to change your life forever? Meet Loy Machedo, the world's #1 personal branding coach. He will help you identify the real you, position and sell yourself by getting the job of your dreams, and make good money anywhere in the world. If you do not believe me, Google his name, Loy Machedo, and you will find 2 million web links online and over 200 recommendations from very happy clients. So the question is, do you want to change your life? If yes, then contact Loy Machedo. www.loymachedo.com. Who is loymachedo.com? Thinkpersonalbranding.com. What are you waiting for? Do it now.